So let's talk about preparing for the cold call. You know, let's just do the basics here, and we'll dive deep even further once we start working with you guys on a one-on-one basis. Build a list. Do you really know who you want to start calling? Like literally, what we do is to make it easier on a week-by-week basis. We decide this week we're just going to call all nursing homes. Okay, all nursing homes and all assisted livings, and then the next week all we're going to do is call, hospitals, and then the following week all we're going to do is call physicians, okay, or specialty physicians, to try to kind of get that mindset of what we're trying to present all in our head, the same thing all the time. So you want to be able to build a list. Do you have a list? Okay, don't tell me that, I'm just gonna just pick up the yellow pages, or I'm just gonna Google this, or I'm just gonna no, you should have a list, right? And you should be using that list to call. So let's say, for example, you use that list whenever you start calling again because you weren't able to get information, you follow up again, you go through the list from top to bottom until you finish everything. Put check marks, whatever you need to do. Use a CRM system. You know, import their information to a CSV file and upload that into your CRM. Okay? Customer relation management systems. If you don't have one of those, you need to get one. And I can definitely guide you guys to be able to how to make it cost effective and not be buying the Salesforce stuff and paying $1,000 a month on this. There's ways to do it cheaply, and I'll be glad to share with you guys these information. That's my job. All right, so once you build a list, you want to be able to do the math. How many calls do you expect to be done in a day? How many calls do you expect to be done in an hour, in 2 hours, in 3 hours, in 4 hours? What time of the day should be doing phone calls? All right, you research for a list. Okay, you build a list, you research for a list, you research a list. Once you get a list, you need to determine who and what. And sometimes even before I make phone calls, I already found out who, what their addresses are, what their website is, what their specialties are, who are their coverages. You need to become like an FBI agent and literally investigate the list. Look for personal connections. How do you look for personal connections? Do you have a referral? Best way to look at personal connections? Guess what? LinkedIn. Beautiful website. And we actually have a video that we're releasing that talks about how to use LinkedIn properly as a home health agency and as a marketer in our industry. Using your power partners, right? Who do you know that knows another person, right? And when we talk about power partners, these are people that are like-minded individuals that is probably marketing to the same people you're marketing to, but in a little bit in a separate industry. So, example is if I'm a marketer for a home health agency that's approved by Medicare, I want to be able to work with possible non-medical people or hospice liaisons out there that knows the people that I want to target as well, that can give me a connection. Next thing, the most very important stuff is building a script. You want to be able to build a script, right? Remember I talked to you guys that is so important. And we can actually work with you guys one-on-one to create a script for you guys. I definitely want to help you in that. So when you're interested about the whole script writing, give me a call, shoot me an email. We'll talk a little bit and I'll be able to help you guys with that. Anticipate the objections. Look, you need to prepare yourself. You should need to be able to understand that you are going to get objections. There's going to be days where you're going to be so surprised that 100% people said yes to you. But there's going to be days that you're like, what happened? Okay? What happened? Right? So you want to avoid the what happened days. Okay? So you want to be able to make sure that you anticipate the objections, but at the same time is know how to get past the objections or how to bring up the objections before it even comes up. Next one is get calling. Just literally pick up the phone and start making phone calls. Right? Literally start making phone calls. Choose a day. You know when the day is? Right now. After we're done with this whole training and seminar with you guys, today's the day you're going to start making those phone calls. And next thing is, look, take great notes. You're going to be calling hundreds of people every week. You're not going to remember every detailed information. When we actually call people up, when we start what we call a file on someone, we actually will write information there that we want to be able to know. If we find out how many kids they have, if we find out who their receptionists are, if we find out, do they have other addresses? Do they work with other physicians? How are they linked? How can we be linked with them? We need to be able to make sure that we look and take great notes. Do they like coffee? Do they like, all the way to the point that we notice that they like the color purple? Whatever we need to do, whatever data gathering information, You guys see all that information the CIA is doing or the NSA is doing. When you're making these phone calls, you need to be able to be ready yourself and get any data you can. Because if your company starts increasing, what's going to end up going to be happening is literally this, is that you're going to actually be able to make sure that you increase your potential marketers in your company, and you may have to pass the information along to the other marketer for them to actually be following up your the leads that you've opened up. So make sure everyone take good notes, because everybody should have this information at any given time. And lastly, one of the biggest things is the follow-up. Do you have a follow-up process? Most people feel that the moment that they have that initial contact, that they're not going to be pushy. They're not going to bother the person for a couple days or 3 days or 4 days. Sometimes even you wait 2 months to follow up and you're like, oh my God, they haven't referred any patients to us in a while. Let me follow up with them. Well, guess what? That's a cold call again, because they don't remember who you are. I've seen it happen where doctors forget who you are after you called them one day ago, like a day ago, right? So you have to understand, follow-up is very important, and that is one of the biggest parts of the Home Health Success Academy's secret formula, is the follow-up process on how to become a rock star at follow-up, okay? How to be able to follow up correctly.